So, what if I told you might be in a cult? Oh, don't worry, not the robe-wearing Kool-Aid drinking kind. We're talking about the other kind, the one with bumper stickers, merch, and a podcast.
The kind where the leader never does anything wrong. The media is always lying, and if you leave, suddenly you're a traitor, a libtard, or secretly on the payroll of the Clintons, Trudeau, or the other deep state weather machine.
Welcome to 2025.
You don't just end up in a cult overnight. You have to believe the lies. You have to explain away the contradictions. And you have to follow the leader no matter what. So if you've ever said, only he can fix it, or everything is broken and we know the truth, congrats, you might already be sipping the ideological grape juice.
From Trump to Modi, from Poilievre to Orban, politics in 2025 looks like a whole lot of organized delusion with a merch table.
You don't need a robe. You don't need Kool-Aid. You just need a slogan, a savior, and a group chat that hates outsiders.
From MAGA rallies to convoy Facebook groups to Rebel News comment sections, the signs are all there. You might not call it a cult, but it sure acts like a cult.
So today, we're not just calling out the cults, we're giving you a test. Don't worry, it's multiple choice. A, you laugh. B, you rage. C, you start questioning everything.
So let's talk about political cults and how they're running the world without most of us even realizing it. So let's clear something up. A cult isn't just robes, UFOs, or Tom Cruise explaining space psychology. A cult is a group built around absolute loyalty to a leader, a clear enemy to hate, and total intolerance for dissent.
Jonestown, cult. Nexium, cult. QAnon, super cult. And MAGA, that's just Scientology with fewer e-meters and more golden toilets.
Academically, it's textbook. The cults always include a charismatic leader who's never wrong, us versus them thinking, tight control of information, and one set of rules for followers, another for the boss. Plus, fear of leaving, of questioning, and usually of facts.
Seriously, if your movement has branded hoodies or hats, a loyalty oath, and believes that fact checkers are part of a conspiracy, you're not starting a revolution. You're starring in a Netflix documentary.
And here's the dangerous part. Cult logic doesn't start with violence. It starts with flattery. You're not brainwashed like the rest of them. You're special. You're awake. And then one day you're storming the Capitol building. You're voting to cut school lunches for poor kids because freedom!
They create an army of parrots, not thinkers. And the moment you question the script, you're silenced. What happens when a political cult goes mainstream?
Easy. It stops looking like a fringe movement and starts running your government.
So let's break it down. Here's your cult checklist.
Charismatic leader? Check. Donald Trump. Only I can fix it. Pierre Poilievre, the working-class crusader who's never actually worked a non-political job. Danielle Smith? Alberta's freedom mama with a mega playbook. Benjamin Netanyahu? Only I can keep you safe, even as he defies international law, bombs civilians, and faces genocide accusations in The Hague. And then Vladimir Putin, cult leader and cult god. 3 years into a brutal war, accused of genocide and still jailing anyone who won't chant his name.
Anyone who questions the leader, traitor, plant, CIA, or just fake news.
The cult always needs an enemy, and that's how they keep the members loyal. It's using us versus them language. Elites, globalists, the deep state, the woke mob, the climate cult, snowflakes.
They have information control. You've got Rebel News, Fox, True North, PragerU, all pushing the same talking points on a loop.
And algorithmic echo chambers. Selective press access, and if a journalist asks a tough question, they're banned.
And then there's the purity test, right? You're not conservative enough. You didn't vote right, so you're now dead to us.
Healthy movements allow debate. Cults demand total obedience, or you're out.
You even get punishment for leaving or questioning. If you speak up, you're excommunicated. Change your mind, you're harassed online. Vote blue once, you're a libtard sellout.
Welcome to the political cult economy where loyalty is currency and dissent is a crime.
And the worst part is cults don't just destroy minds. They rot democracies from the inside out. Let's start with Trump and Musk. Two billionaires, two narcissists, one national meltdown playing out live on X and Truth Social like an episode of Succession, except the stakes are higher and the dialogue is even worse.
Here's what happened. Musk criticized Trump's one big beautiful bill for being reckless, bloated, and designed to crush tech. Trump snapped. He called Musk crazy, threatening to kill his government contracts, and said, "I was always surprised Biden didn't do it first."
And Musk fired back with a flamethrower. Elon Musk, who once said he loved Trump as much as any straight man can love another man, lit a match under MAGA world by saying what many have long suspected, that Trump's name is buried in the Epstein files. He posted a poll about starting a new political party and literally tweeted, "Time to impeach Trump."
Listen, Trump knew Epstein, he praised Epstein, he partied with Epstein. It's well documented. Then Epstein was arrested and somehow died in prison under mysterious circumstances. Kind of like how Ivana Trump somehow fell down the stairs. But hey, totally normal, right?
And what did the GOP do when Musk said the quiet part out loud? They rallied around Trump like he was the last prophet of reality. Fox News ran damage control, and the Republicans call for loyalty, not truth. In a functioning democracy, that kind of allegation would spark investigations, but in a cult, it sparks a loyalty test.
The red line in cults isn't truth, it's betrayal. And both of these guys are proving that their fans will swallow anything as long as they get a dopamine hit.
It doesn't matter what Trump said last week, as long as this week he's the one saying it. Because when you're in a cult, facts don't matter. The leader matters. And if he flips out on live TV or tweets, "You're dead to me," you convince yourself it's part of the master plan.
Look, it's easy to dunk on the right, but let's not pretend the left has everything figured out.
Some activist circles turn into purity spirals, where one wrong phrase, one out-of-date tweet, and suddenly you're exiled like a heretic.
Cancel culture? Yeah, sometimes it's about justice, but sometimes it's just mob rule with good intentions. Me Too started as a powerful movement to hold predators accountable. Now, people get dragged for awkward flirting or bad jokes from 2011.
And don't even try to have a conversation about pronouns or identity nuance. If you're not 100% fluent in the latest lingo, then you're branded a bigot, even if you're just trying to learn. There's a difference between protecting people and policing them.
A difference between being inclusive and making everyone terrified to speak.
It's not activism if it ends every conversation with a cancellation.
Because real movements grow by welcoming people in, not gatekeeping progress behind purity tests.
The far right wants power. The far left wants perfection. Both can be dangerous.
The real question isn't which side are you on, it's can your side handle being questioned?
So listen, cults don't just want members, they want control of the narrative, of institutions, and of your ability to think for yourself.
Poilievre avoids scrutiny like it's a virus. He refuses full security clearance, he cherry-picks reporters, and he only speaks to audiences that already agree with him, and then calls it freedom.
And Trump, man, he rewrites reality in real time. He accused Hillary Clinton of accepting illegal gifts, then bragged about his own $400 million donation plane from Qatar, calling it a gesture of respect. He slashed food programs and public schools, but handed out fresh tax breaks for billionaires because they're the real job creators. And then there's Danielle Smith, who rewrites her own past and dares you to call her on it. She didn't say that. You misheard. She never supported that policy. Oh, and if you quote her directly, well then, you're the problem.
Authoritarianism doesn't start with a coup, it starts with loyalty pledges, propaganda, and a guy in aviators screaming on YouTube. Because in a cult, facts aren't facts. They're just speed bumps on the road to loyalty because cult tactics work.
Trump sends 700 Marines and the National Guard into Los Angeles without a single ask from the governor or the police. He threatens to arrest Gavin Newsom for protecting immigrants. He weaponizes ICE raids while people are marching peacefully in the streets.
He pardons his allies, threatens to jail his critics, and tells the world that only he can save America.
He calls journalists enemies of the people, then bans media outlets that ask tough questions.
Remember, he tried to overturn a democratic election, and when that failed, he vowed to terminate the Constitution. His words, not ours.
He called the rioters patriots and then gave out pardons like it was a game show. You know you're living in a cult, not a democracy, when the president calls in the Marines on peaceful protesters, but pardoned the people who stormed the Capitol, beat cops, and shattered democracy on live TV. He even asked the DOJ to investigate Saturday Night Live for making fun of him. Because nothing says strongman like being triggered by comedy, right?
This isn't about left or right anymore. It's about whether your country runs on law or loyalty.
So how do you get out of a cult? Or help someone else get out? Because you can't just throw facts at a cult. You've got to crack that armor.
So, what do you do when someone you love is deep in it? They're posting memes about globalists and ranting about the real enemy, or even worse, running for the school board.
You don't deprogram someone with facts. You do it with curiosity, with compassion and patience. You start with questions, not confrontation.
You ask them, what would it take for you to change your mind?
And if you've ever thought, why do I feel scared to question this? Or why am I only allowed to get news from one place? Or even why do I feel like the enemy if I speak up? Listen, that's not political engagement, that's emotional captivity.
The exit ramp out of a cult isn't shame, it's self-awareness. It's realizing that loyalty isn't the same as truth, and that doubt is not betrayal. It's the beginning of thinking for yourself again.
If you've left the political cult, you're not weak, you're awake. If you've lost friends over questioning your party, you didn't fail, you got free.
And if you're still in it, that doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone with a choice to make. Critical thinking is imperative, and it's important to question everything.
So, if this made you uncomfortable, good. Cults thrive in comfort zones.
And if you laughed, raged, or started rethinking your group chats, well, welcome to the resistance.
This isn't about left or right anymore. It's about truth versus loyalty, democracy versus delusion.
So if you're done sipping the Kool-Aid, hit that like button, drop us a comment, and make sure you're subscribed and click on that bell for notifications.
And share this with someone who thinks deprogramming only happens on sci-fi movies. And we want to give a big shout out to our first 6 members for being the first people to jump on the Planet D bandwagon.
We're Dave and Deb from the Planet D. We travel the world, and now we're just trying to save it.
One cult exit at a time.
And remember to stay curious, stay loud, and let's stay free.